There you are. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. It is me. And guess what? I'm all by myself. Yay. Oh, boo. It's okay. You guys know, love, and trust me, right? Good morning, Steve. Good afternoon, Steve. Good evening, Steve, wherever you're Thailand, right? Linda. Welcome. Pat says privately, hello all. You're welcome to chat with everybody in the group, Pat. Let me know, just for the usual stuff. Let me know if you can hear me. I assume you can. Tom's here. Good morning from Minnesota. Antonio. I don't know. What is that, Mitch? Good to see y'all. I'm just checking to make sure everything's working on this end. Philip, welcome. Today's topic is going to be you. Yes, that's right, you. You are the topic of the day. Barbara, welcome, Barbara. Thank you, John. Finally, somebody says loud and clear. I appreciate that. The topic of the day is what? Does anybody know what the topic of the day is? For those of you who don't know me, I am Planet Mitch. I go by Mitch. My last name is Aunger. You can find me over on Facebook. My last name is spelled Aunger. Jeff says, good morning to you and your ... pet dog. This is Astro, by the way. Astro's been with me for a long, long time. Jeff also said, you cannot say you are all by yourself. Well, actually, you're right. My other friend, the bear, which has no name, is over there hiding in the bushes. Jeff does not win the bell. Jeff says, what's the topic of the day? He says, UpViral. Yes, that's technically right, but also not what the real topic is. Olga gets a ring of the bell. Checking if the campaign works before launching. Way to go, Olga. Wish I had some prizes to give away. Wouldn't that be great? Speaking of that, before I get started, I just got, Steve says, topic of the day, me. I was paying attention. Good one, Steve. You also get a ring of the bell because that wasn't the topic. Tom says, test, test, test. Maybe Tom's seen me before because that certainly is one of the ways I say it. Barbara says how to promote like a pro. Yes, that's one way of thinking about it. Jeff says it's all about me. So I got an Amazon box today. That's not the side I want to show you. This just came this morning, not an hour ago. Natalie, thank you. Enter giveaway. For those of you, I'm probably shouting into the microphone, sorry. Enter giveaway. Enter giveaway. Amazon, new box, enter giveaway. For those of you who say contests and giveaways don't work, why would Amazon be doing one if they don't work? I am tired of people saying contests don't work. Now, is this the right prize? They're giving away a Hyundai, or a Hyundai, depending upon which way you say it. They have a, I almost said a barcode. It is like a barcode. It is a, what do you call it? My brain is just getting worse. I keep wanting to say GPS. That's not GPS. What is that? QR code. Thank you. QR code, Linda says. Thank you. My brain finally came up with it. I went to the dentist yesterday. Oh, sure. QR code, Art says. Yes. But it does say, I started to get really distracted. Here's your chance to win the newly redesigned Santa Fe. So it's sponsored by Hyundai. So you can use the QR code or you can go to the Amazon.com. For those of you saying giveaways don't work. Now, is this the right prize? Was the other thing I started to go. For Amazon, they're obviously getting paid by Hyundai, right? On the back, it says, think outside the box, way outside the box. So interesting promotional kind of thing going on there. I am reading a private message from Pat. Pat, again, please make everything public if that's okay. Can you help? I contacted support. Custom domain, Google custom domain question. I'm not going to do questions right off the bat. We're going to talk about testing, and questions will be at the end. I'm not sure I can remember it. So, Pat, I'm going to copy it, but I'm going to mark it as a question. But sometimes the chat falls down, so make sure you ask me this question if I don't get it towards the end. Natalie says, same here. I'm tired of people that say they do not want to plan their trips. They want to improvise and be free while they're asking for advice for their next trip. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. QR means quick response. And they're making a major comeback in the local marketing as a result of COVID, Deborah says. God, Deborah, you are a fount of knowledge, or a font. That's interesting. And yes, QR codes, I advise my members all the time, especially Jason's one of my members that is doing local campaigns and like restaurants and stuff. And they print a QR code, put it right at the cash register so people can scan the code and jump right to the landing page in UpViral to be able to gain access to that particular restaurant's contests. Great. I love QR codes. They're simple. And one of the things that many people still don't know, and I don't know if it's true for Android, it probably is true for Android. I'm ignorant of Android, and I'm going to stay that way. But the iPhone, the photo, the camera app, all you have to do is point your iPhone at a QR code, and it goes, oh, there's a QR code in that image, in that what you're pointing at. So you don't have to have a QR app, which is phenomenal, right? It is so much better when it's built right into the actual device. So it's stripped down time. I'm getting warm like I usually do because I get warmed up, fired up, even though it's 39 degrees outside here in St. Louis. QR codes are massive in the Far East is what I have been told. I've never been over to Japan, China, those kind of places all love the QR codes. All right, so let's move on. Deborah says, I sell dynamic QR codes. We changed the landing page. They point monthly. Spa niche. But sending to an UpViral campaign, I hadn't thought of that. Well, good golly, Deborah. Now, this is where I've talked before about using a tool like, TinyURL and Bitly or the kind of thing like that. Dynamic QR codes, we changed the landing page. So what I do is I advise people to use something. I am entrenched in WordPress on my sites, and I use a tool called PrettyLink Pro, which there's a free version. So you can, set up a QR code. I'm going to tell you about one, not a QR code. You can set a PrettyLink like the one I'm going to share with you today. This is viraltrafficguy.com/upviral, for example. I'll just give you an example. And I can switch where that goes, but all I have to do is tell people viraltrafficguy.com/upviral or ThriveCard or some of the other affiliate things that I'm working on. And I can switch where that goes in the background, and they'll never know. All I have to do is keep using that one thing. And my friend Jason, that's doing the local contests, he has a website, readingnews.com, and they just set up a /contest, and they can redirect on the back end whichever contest they want to send people to, right? So use smart tactics like that. So you set the QR code to readingnews.com/contest. And if you switch it over to Taco Bell next week and this restaurant that week or Spa XYZ, Deborah, the next week. You just keep telling people the one code, the one link. Way off topic. But that's also good for testing. You might see me do some of that stuff today. So, in terms of testing, this is one of my favorite topics. And I apologize, it took me 11 minutes to get into it. I love testing. I hate testing. We all know, love, and test, right? Part of my basis is that I came from a software development background. So testing is just like ingrained in what I do. If you run an UpViral campaign or any kind of marketing campaign, whether it's UpViral or not, we're going to specifically talk about UpViral. But if you don't go in and test your pages and your links before you launch a campaign, what's the old saying? You can pay me now or you can pay me later. What was that? Was it Midas? There was some kind of a car repair shop that did a campaign about you can pay me now or you can pay me later. So many people contact me, or they go in the UpViral group and they go, my points aren't working. I've just launched a campaign and 30,000 people have hit the page and none of the points are there and I don't know what's wrong and I don't know what to do. How's that? You can pay me for that. I'd love to come in and charge you $200 an hour for me to fix that for you. But you need to do the testing first. And people say, well, I did the testing. Well, if you did the testing, then it would work properly. There could be a problem with UpViral, I confess. There could be a problem with the internet. There could be a problem with all kinds of things. But if you don't test before you launch and you come see me, the price is going to be $400 an hour. Because it's something that is so freaking simple to do. And it will take you less than 30 minutes, I guarantee. Okay, depending upon who you are and what you're doing. Natalie says, I agree, testing is not an option. And I know what you mean is it's not optional, right? You have to do testing. For some reason, I'm wringing my hands a lot lately. I think it has to do with my thumb. My thumb hurts a little bit. So if you see me doing this, and if you see me get excited about this particular topic, you will know that I'm passionate about this one. A lot of it has to do with my software background, but I also understand this topic immensely because I've done over 100 campaigns, right? I do campaigns all the time, help people, my students are doing them, and I can guarantee you that every one of them knows they better freaking test their campaign before they launch, or they will be in deep poo-poo. Natalie says, yes, my mistake. I'm French speaking. Bless your heart, Natalie. Thank you for being with me. And I apologize. I'm a lazy American. I took French in high school, and I immediately forgot everything I learned about French, other than oui and vous and all. Anyway, UpViral, Deborah says, UpViral is a rocket for marketing. Never... NASA would never launch without testing. You are absolutely right. And thank you for using a astronomy/space theme. Olga says, excited to start. Is that a hint? Like, get to it, Mitch? Oh, I get it. I get it. Okay, now, before I start, or while I'm starting, so I'm going to put you guys... How do you test without going live? Well, that's a great freaking question, Marcelo. The answer is right now you can't. You are live as soon as you build your campaign. And I'm so glad you said that. That is a great question. I'm going to move you guys over to my other monitor over here. My third monitor over there, for some reason, stopped working just as soon as I decided to launch this morning. And so I'm a little frustrated with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into preview, which you don't know, and I'm going to turn screen sharing on. I moved you over to the other screen so you don't see the infinity thing happening. All right. I know you guys have seen this, but we have to have a basis to start with. There's 2 pages in UpViral. right? 2 simple pages. I'm going to make myself bigger because I'd like to be able to see myself. There I am in the corner, right? There's 2 simple pages. There is the lead page, and there is the sharing page. We have traffic coming in. We have referred traffic coming in through the viral loop, and we have social media. We have the social sharing buttons. Now notice I'm not showing you on my typical chart over here on the side that I also show custom actions. You're going to test your custom actions. I'm not going to go through a whole lot about that today. Those do count just like everything else. I will try to keep it shorter than 5 hours because I tend to go long. But there are also down here the contacts that get added, right? And there's the transactional emails that come out, either from UpViral or for your own service if you decided to do them all through your autoresponder. Whichever way, you're going to have emails coming out. The key, if you don't understand this part of the process, you can't do adequate testing, which is why I'm starting here, okay? Have y'all got that? You got it? Lead page, share page. Not that hard, right? Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to UpViral, and I have 2 campaigns. Why do I have 2 campaigns that we're going to talk about? Oops, not that. You're going to see that later. And I didn't turn off my notifications, so let me turn those off. Sorry, you don't need to see my little pop-ins. Do I specify anywhere in this page, question for the group, do you see any notice in this diagram about whether it's a widget campaign or an UpViral hosted campaign? Short answer is no. This process is identical regardless of which way you go. Now, there are some differences if you're going to do an UpViral widget campaign, but virtually the same. Virtually the same. But I do have in my UpViral, I do have 2 campaigns open. I have this one, which is my widget demo, and I created one yesterday for testing because I've just created it. Now, going back to Marcelo's question, how do you test it without going live? Now, there's going to be a couple of nuances here that I'm going to talk about, Marcelo, that will help you in that regard. But notice this campaign. I just built it last night. I went through the incentives and the actions and the design template and the social appearance. I went through all the steps, so UpViral thinks it's live, right? If I go to the dashboard, for example, right? This one is closed. All of these are open. The one I'm showing you right now, this very first one, is live. It's open. If I go into Edit Setup, up here in the corner, this says Close Campaign, which means by default, it's open. Marcelo, I'm going to mark that as a question, and we will try to talk about that later. Marcelo's problem is trying to click through the competition sign-up page. There was no SSL certificate on the landing page. So that's like way down the road. We're going to check that. It's a good question because I don't actually have that on my checklist. But in this campaign, we're going to talk about the first one being the hosted landing page. I don't have any actions set up. I don't have any incentives set up, right? No custom actions. But what I do have is some points. So we're going to make sure that we test all of this stuff. Oh, by the way, let me go over to Chrome. I do have this abbreviated task testing checklist. There are sort of a lot more details to potentially each one of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it to you because I'll never remember if I shouldn't say I'll never remember. I'll give you the link to it. It's viraltrafficguy.com, and I'm saying this out loud so that if people watching maybe don't see the link, it's viraltrafficguy.com/free testing checklists. All one word, no spaces, nothing else. And look at all you people clicking in and coming in to see it. See, I can see all you people coming in, right? They give you these cute little icons. So that's free testing checklists. You can follow along. Now, typically what I do is I go through this in kind of the first pass I go through in looking at a campaign. I did type it in the chat, Sarah. It is there 2 comments before this. You should be able to just click the link. If you just came in the chat, I thought you would see all the old stuff, but I'll paste it in there again. Now, I apologize if you did just come in. It's right there. So what I kind of sort of do when I'm starting this, if I come back over and look at the check link, why did I go there? The check link, the checklist, is I do the review lead page for content accuracy and prizes, and I review the share page for content. Pat, I will try, but again, sometimes these things fall off the chat, and I'll see if I can copy that and potentially get back to you. I will try. If not, hook up with me over on Facebook Messenger. My facebook.com/planetmitch is how you can get a hold of me over there. All right, so but what I was trying to say is that review lead page and review share page, what I typically do, go back over to UpViral, is I just go quickly through all of here, and make sure everything's there, right? Now, you could go to the review and start. Mark and I are talking about potentially changing some of the way this looks, but you will see that this shows there are no incentives, that I've done the custom actions, that I did not define a grand prize. I've done the design template and the social sharing. I've done the email settings. I don't have an autoresponder set, which in my case right now is okay. And I have been through the advanced. So this is a quick way to check to see if everything's set up the way you might think you need it. It's a quick place. Now there is, going back to Marcelo's question, was it Marcelo? Yes, test. There is this start button, and Mark and I have also talked about this, that right now the start button doesn't do anything official. It does not launch your campaign. The campaign that I have given that I'm going to test right now is live, even though I haven't done any of this. I have not clicked this start campaign. So again, let me just kind of quickly run through these. I go to the incentives. I see that there's no incentive set, that the grand prize is, I did not specify this. I typically close my campaign myself. I typically define my grand prizes. We've talked a lot about this before in earlier shows. Then I go to the actions, and I know I'm going to talk about these points in a minute, so I'm just going to skip through this really fast. I come to the landing page, and the first step that I really have here is review the lead page for content and accuracy. So I come in here and I do a preview. And I look at the preview because this is what it's actually going to look like to the user, except for this back button. Now, with a campaign, what I want to make sure is that the text is what I want it to be, that the prizes are listed here, if it's a contest, if it's a lead magnet, whatever, this is enough to get people to sign up. I want to make sure there's a name and email. The button is here, and my copyright is here. Notice I made it fun. I made 222 as the copyright year, etc. Right? So you come in here and you're going to check your terms and conditions, which I did not build for this. The privacy policy, I click it and it doesn't go anywhere. So I come to the page and I test all of these things, right? This is what I'm talking about in terms of the content for accuracy and prices. I often, if I'm doing this for a client, I often insist that they come in here and do these functions themselves as well. I want them to look at the landing page and the sharing page to make sure that the wording matches what they want for their branding. I want to make sure that all of the words, all of the copy, all of the links work correctly. Excuse me. And I also tell them this, test with a real entry for your own email address and make sure you can use the emails. That's jumping ahead a little bit because I'm not done with what I do for my quick review, right? So I looked at that. Then I come in and I do the preview for the share page, make sure this looks right. I'm just looking for words. I will test all of these buttons when I actually go live. I want to make sure these words are right. I want to make sure this looks proper to me, right? And then I go to the social appearance and I do a review here. Are these the right words? This is a quick 5-minute check before I even start testing, because you'll see some of these things before you actually really do it the first time. You'll look at your social sharing message and see if this is the way you want it to be. The words, etc. And then I go check the email notifications. Now, I have all of these turned off because I'm not using these in this demo. But I check to make sure that all these things are here. If I'm using an email sender, like if I used a different client, I would select that, make sure that's right. I check all of this, especially for a client, before I send them to the campaign, because I want to make sure I look good, that I've done all the bits and pieces before I get them in there. Now, I usually tick this one, the basic one, because I typically like that one better, but that's personal preference. I would also go in and check these individually to make sure that the words are the way I want them to be. And then I would go to the autoresponder to make sure this is set up for, if it's their campaign, it's going to their autoresponder with the right fields and the tags and all that other stuff. Then I come into the advanced and I give a quick run through to make sure that their Facebook pixels and all that other stuff is here if I need it, or on the share page, whatever scripts are set up here, the footer codes, etc., the tracking domains, which we've talked about custom domains a lot before. Nobody's typically ever using this callback URL. If you are, you know what the heck you're doing. Terms and conditions, you guys saw that was not there. If there's any geo-targeting, I would check this. General setup, am I auto redirecting non-subscribers? And this one, obviously I did not check that. I always have these two turned on for an UpViral hosted campaign. Right now, I don't care about showing UpViral. I don't do the deactivate fraudulent leads, which is a whole long topic, and I don't do email verification, and I'm not currently doing any of this kind of stuff. And the last thing that I check is the closed campaign. Do I send the campaign to a default page? If I see this on any client or any student or any people in my mastermind, they will know that I am angry with them, because you never, ever, 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 ever want your client's campaign to show this. You don't want your campaign to show this once it's closed. You don't want somebody to come into the campaign and see this. This is such a simple thing to do. Now, why do I say that? I have a campaign I could show you, but it's easier to just talk. I have a campaign that I did for a client in October of 2018. That campaign is still getting 40 to 50 hits a month. 2 years ago, that campaign ran. If I don't have this set to at least redirect to my site, right? If I don't set that to redirect, then anybody that comes in and sees this is going to be really disappointed. Linda, I'm not sure what you mean by your comment. That is showing the one you shared with us a few weeks back, the money one. John T says, direct them somewhere that they can raise their hand. Yes, you can even create a custom page, right? To say the campaign is closed, but here's a coupon code. Here's a way to use it in my store. Click here. You can use it for the custom page for whatever you want. But at least redirect them somewhere. If I find a campaign, and I actually saw one the other day for one of my clients that's building her own campaigns. I went to her campaign and it showed this default page, and I slapped her about the face and head, saying, why are you missing out on traffic? People are still coming to your campaign. At least click this. This is a simple thing to do. Don't skip that step. Linda, let me know what you meant by that is showing the one you shared with us a few weeks back. If you wouldn't mind telling me what you were talking about. All right. So the installation step, of course, is not really very necessary. There are some advanced steps here. Sarah said, if you give them a coupon code, what would prevent them from sharing it with others without sharing the lead page? Nothing. You heard me, maybe you missed me last week or the week before, talking about coupon codes. If somebody uses a coupon code and they become a customer, they are on your email list now, and they have purchased something from you. I don't care if people share the coupon codes. If somebody becomes a customer, hallelujah. Now I can sell more stuff to them. Sarah says, this is my first week. Okay. Bless your heart. Come back next week and the week after and the week after that, because I'm going to teach you how to get your stuff going. Deborah says, can you make your screen bigger? Of course. I'm sorry. Thank you for that. I will do one back. All right. Hopefully that helps. Linda says, just looking for it as a student link, the money one. Oh, you were talking about Doris. Yes, that was Doris. Shh, don't tell. But Doris is the one that left the campaign closed. It's not important who. We're not here to slap anybody about the face and head, except for people who don't do what I tell them to do. And Deborah, thank you for saying it that way. Coupons need to be approached with let me get my tongue to work. Coupons need to be approached with an abundance mentality as opposed to a scarcity mentality. Absolutely true. Deborah, I love you for that. So many clients come to me, well, I don't want my coupon code to be shared. Share it everywhere. Let everybody share it, because if that gets used, they are buying from you. Why are we hiding this? Why are we making this so hard for people to use coupons? I don't get it. Hand them out like butter, free candy, whatever analogy you want to use. All right, so is my campaign live? Marcelo asked. Yes, of course it is. Demo testing.viraltrafficguy.com will get you there. So if I click preview, Marcelo, I don't know what bespoke means in that context. Marcelo and Steve are talking about SSL in the background. I don't want to talk about SSL yet because that's way, way advanced. So if you guys figure this out, let me know. All right, so this is the campaign. Granted, it's a simple campaign, right? If I'm going to be doing testing, what I want to do is test my campaign. Simple, right? So I'm going to, let me go back before I do this. Sorry, I should have done this before. Here's my campaign. I currently have 2 leads. All right, and the things we're going to look at. So I went to the leads page, and I see that there are 2 leads. Because what we're going to start doing is looking at the campaign in detail. And I'm going to go back really fast to the points page because that's what's most important for the first part. I set it up, and I don't get confused with the 10. Sarah says lag. I'm assuming that has to do with the SSL question. Don't know. Is this coming across to you in a laggy way? Hopefully don't think that's happening, but let me know. I'm going to get this out of the way. Don't need to see that, do you? Huh. Okay. Need to reconnect. I have fiber out, so it's really hard for me to tell because it looks like everything's working fine on my end. If I go to speed test, and I do go, theoretically, this is not me. And Donnie says, once we reconnect, it is fine. So my upload speed is currently 900. So I don't think it's on my side. I apologize if you're having trouble. There is a reconnect button. Try that. Just remember, Paul says you will lose previous comments when reconnecting. I will try not to reconnect. Totally frozen. So a lot of people are having trouble. I'm sorry that. Yes, it's incredible speeds. I love my fiber connection. I don't ever want to leave this house because of that, but we'll see. Natalie says okay for now. Steve says multiple reconnects. Sarah says I didn't lose chat. Pete says, I wish we had connection speeds like that. Yes, I am very proud of this connection speed. I am very happy that we have fiber here in my town. Linda says you don't lose comments when you hit reconnect, just if you drop out completely. So what she's talking about is the reconnect inside of, pardon me, the webinar jam versus refreshing the entire page. If you reload the page, Barbara says, I reloaded the page. I only saw the reconnect button now. So there's a difference between refreshing the entire page, which we're used to doing, and the reconnect button that's at the top of the webinar jam screen, which is what Deborah's talking about, the green reconnect button. All right. Linda said, I have fiber and I get excited when we have 170. Well, yes. I had 5 up and 5 down before when I was on DSL. So going from 5 up and 5 down to 100 up and 100 down is awesome. All right. So I'm going to go back. I just want to reconnect, copy that. All right. So let's go on. Let's just assume. So what I was talking about was the point setup, which is primarily Barbara says it's a red button for me. Okay. What's fiber? Great question. Fiber is, it's a glass tube with light going through it as opposed to a copper wire with electrons going through it. It's really hard. So it's like as thin as a hair, and it's glass, and it has, instead of using electrons on copper wire, it's glass and light goes through it. So, technically it all gets converted to internet stuff. All right. All right. So there's a whole bunch of still questions about SSL. We're not going to go down that path. Now my phone's ringing with a spam call. All right. So I set up the sign up points for 10. So everybody who signs up, whether they are a direct lead or a referred lead, if I go back to this preview, right, direct traffic or referred traffic, they will get 10 points for signing up. If person A comes in and signs up and they go to the sharing and then they do the social share, and person B signs up underneath person A because they shared their referred link, then person A will get these referred sign up points. So that's what this number is, and I made it something odd or even, but non-zero, so that I can see that number, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to track the point sign up as our first test. Plus, we're going to see if the leads get captured, etc. Steve says, I think Marcelo is on the righteous path with his SSL. Great. All right, so going back to UpViral, what I'm going to do is I'm on the demo page. I'm going to put in my name, right? And I'm going to put copilot at test.com. Now, right now, you saw that I have all the emails out of UpViral turned off. I don't always test this way, but I'm just doing it for this purpose because I don't want to worry about the emails. Getting into all the email process can be complicated. I don't want to worry about that right this second. So I have all those turned off. Now, should I put in a valid email address? Possibly, but right now I'm just doing testing, and my testing is limited to UpViral, right? I am not going out, if I come back to here, I'm not going out to an autoresponder, and I'm not sending out any emails because you saw I turned them all off. So all I'm really caring about right now is whether or not the emails get added to my UpViral. Okay? Let me know if you guys are confused. So many people worry about the email address here. If you start just testing the UpViral components, you can send an email to anybody you want, because right now I'm not sending out any emails, right? There are 0 emails going out. I don't care what the email address is. I don't have to use one of my own emails to do testing for parts of it. If I want to validate the emails themselves, yes, I have to have a valid email address. So for right now, I can do whatever I want to in this email address field. Do you guys get that? It's a critical piece because I was with one of my mastermind students Friday, because today's Tuesday. And she was bent out of shape going, I've run out of emails to test with. And I finally showed her, I'm like, look, right now we don't care, right? We're just looking at whether or not UpViral is capturing you. It could be cussword at cussword.com. We don't care what it is right now. Just put in what formats to be a valid email address, and let's see if UpViral captures it and gives the proper points. And thank you, Deborah, for saying you got it. Now, Here's the sharing page. Now I put in a fun little confetti script. Isn't that fun? Congratulations, you're awesome, increase the chance of winning, etc. So now I am reviewing the page again for words. Part of the reason I put the confetti in there was to test that that script is working, right? So I'm always looking for all these pieces. Deborah says, with emails turned off, use a test email address, just testing in UpViral to see if it gets added. UpViral, you don't want the emails in your autoresponder. Exactly. That's what I'm doing, right? So the next step is to go start checking the points. So those were the points that I was expecting. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to refresh the leads. So I can now see that there are 3 leads. And I'm going to sort over here by twice. So I'm going to click it twice so that the most recent one is on the top. That way I know the newest ones coming in will be the test ones that I've added. CopilotTest.com is the one I just registered. So if I click on it on the email address, you can see the details. Oh, look, I'm in St. Louis. Huh. Wow, I didn't know that. Here's my email address when I signed up. The referral link is here. The IP address is here. I don't have any rewards. I got 10 points for signing up. So over here is where all of that data starts to appear. I don't have any visitors yet because I'm not counting visitor points. Don't have any subscribers yet, and I don't have any other points. Now scroll down. There are no referred leads yet. All right, so everything looks like I expect it to. I'm not in any other campaigns. All right. So I got the 10 points that I thought I was going to get. Now I'm on the sharing page. So why not test the Facebook? Let's test the Facebook. I validate that this is the right image. I validate that this is the URL I expect because I am using a custom domain. If you're not using a custom domain, it will say upvir.al. Here's the test title that I have and the test description. Now, if I really, really, really want to test this out, if I go back over to my spreadsheet, I'm in here, right? Where is it? Somewhere on the Facebook share page, test the Facebook post and do only me in the privacy settings so it doesn't go public. So as Marcelo asked earlier, our campaign is live. If I physically click this button that says post to Facebook, and this is something you have to, if you give this campaign to your client to test, if they click this post to Facebook, that will be live in front of everybody on the planet. Okay? The trick here is if you want to see it on your Facebook feed, to come over here on the Facebook feed and select more and pick only me. Okay, I'm not going to share it to my story, but I can test to see what it physically looks like on my Facebook page, right? Now, before I hit that and show you that it works, I also want you to recognize that on UpViral, I'm just going to move this over to the side of the screen. Notice that down here it says 15 points. How did I get to 15 points when I had 10 before? I have not shared this, right? Everybody with me? I've not shared this yet, but it looks like UpViral gave me those points, right? So I'm going to move it over to the side. I'm going to come back to my UpViral tab. I'm going to click on here. And I'm going to scroll back up because it left me there. Now it says 10 points still here, right? Huh. It's because I haven't refreshed this page. I have to refresh the page to see the points. Uh-oh. I was afraid of this. Now, if I click this, you will see that this still says 10. Why am I pausing? Why is Mitch suddenly in a panic? Okay. Now, I have reported this problem to UpViral. There is some kind of an issue going on, and I reported it to them on Saturday, and I have not seen the resolution of this yet. There are some times right now where there's a little bit of a lag in this process. I'm going to hit refresh again. I've seen this take up to 10 minutes, and I don't know what's going on. I hope they fix it soon. You see that this says that I have 15 points. UpViral currently on this display is showing me 10 points. I'm going to hit refresh again. Sorry, I was really hoping I wasn't going to run into this during this demo. I assure you that this will be fixed soon. It says 10 here, right? Now, one of the things that I did to verify this little bugaboo is that I did the export. Now, you guys still see this says 10. I'm going to hit refresh, and it still says 10. If I do the export, it's going to create a CSV, and I'm going to open that with my numbers. And if I make it bigger, come on, make it bigger. Where's my view? View, zoom. Oh, it's different. Zoom in. It's shift that. Notice Copilot says 15 points. So there is just some kind of a lag on this UpViral page. I've only really seen it on this page. And I apologize because I was really hoping this would be fixed, but it's not. But you guys, the data's there, right? The user sees the data. If I come over here, it says 15 points. And another tip here, by the way, is that if you know that there are points assigned, right? I assigned 5 points for the Facebook. If I come to a sharing page, Oliver, I'm getting to that. Thank you. Thank you. If I show that, if I come over here and there is not 5 points here, that means I've been awarded the 5 points, and you should see it in the UpViral dashboard. It still says 10. Trust me, it's there. It will show up. When they get this fixed, it won't be a problem for our testing. Right now, it's kind of confusing. Okay, now, so Oliver's question, and I'm bringing this back over here to demonstrate this. Oliver's question is, why does it count when you didn't post to Facebook yet? The problem, the opportunity, and this is true, not only for UpViral, it's true for all the other tools as well. I'm not going to mention their names, but every tool I have tested that is a contest/social sharing kind of tool has this problem. Because it's not an UpViral problem, or it's not the other tools' problems. The problem is with Facebook. When you pop this up, and when you click this button, post to Facebook, there is nothing in the Facebook software, the Facebook API, if you know what that means, to send data back to UpViral that says they physically shared it on their timeline. It's Facebook's problem. It's Twitter's problem. It's LinkedIn's problem. It's Pinterest's problem. All of the tools do not give feedback back to the original tool that asked for the share that the thing was actually done. All of the tools have this problem. So they make the assumption, the tools like UpViral does it, makes the assumption that you clicked on the post to Facebook button. It's not what we want to do. We want Facebook to give us that warm and fuzzy feeling that that actually happened. This has been true since 2015 when UpViral was created, because Facebook is the problem. It's not an UpViral problem. It's not something UpViral can do anything about, because UpViral doesn't control what Facebook does. So UpViral in the background gives the people points. Okay? Can't do anything about it. That's just the way life is. Now, the good news is that 95% of the people on the planet don't know that. Now, some people have figured it out. People that do contests all the time. Natalie says most people will not realize that and will share, right? Yes, most of the people share, because the reason they share is not for those 5 points, right? Which is why we've had a conversation in the past, and Sarah, was it Sarah who's new? I don't see. Yeah, I think it was Sarah. The reason for giving them points is to get them kind of to share, but the biggest joy of UpViral is to get the referral, to give them the bigger points. We want to encourage them. On my UpViral, you'll notice that I gave them 10 points for signing up, but 78 is for bringing in a new lead. And we've talked about this before. And oh my gosh, I just looked at the clock. I've been talking for an hour already. I haven't finished the testing part. I apologize. This number right here, this box, is the joy of UpViral, and you want to encourage people to do that. Yes, thank you, Sarah. We don't really care about these points. They don't really care about that. What sharing on Facebook will do will get them these points. And Donnie says, so if the participant notices that without even posting to the Facebook, they get the points, they will click on the social buttons without posting, right? Yes, they will. But they also lose the opportunity to do a referral sign up. I'm going to turn off my thing over here. Turn it off. All right. That little black thing popping up is annoying for people that don't know what it is. Okay. So this is what you're focusing on, is this number. All right. So let's get back to our testing. If I open this up and I do the only me part, then I can do post to Facebook, right? And I'm going to go over to my Chrome, and I'm going to go over to my Facebook. And I'm not going to go to the home page. I know you can't see it. Well, you can see this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over to your screen. And this is my Facebook page. Hopefully there's nothing inappropriate here. But here is the campaign. So now I can see what it actually looks like. Notice the locked icon says only me if I roll over it. So I know it didn't get shared anywhere. And in my testing, I now know what it looks like and that it's working, right? Because I can actually click on this, and I know you can't really see it, but in the lower left corner, I have the thing turned on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the link because it'll be easier to see. Now, what that is Mitch's unique special social referral link, right? I'm going to come back over to my UpViral, and I'm going to show you that right here it says demo testing UpViral guy /ref and then a number. This is my personal invite link. When I come over here and I do the social sharing, this is what UpViral's joy is to tag all of my social media posts with my name, my referral link, so that when somebody comes in, I can give them, or UpViral will give them 10 points for signing up, and it will give me 78 points for that referral. Okay, this is the magic of UpViral. You got to get this. Now, this is also the requirement of testing, because we want to make sure that person A, copilot@test.com, gets the 78 points for referring somebody, right? Marcelo asked a question. I'm going to get to it in a minute. I saw your question. So this link gets shared whenever I did the Facebook, right? Or if somebody just copies it. I'm going to go over to Firefox because I like Firefox. And I'm going to open, I'm going to open an incognito window, and I'm going to paste in that URL. And I'm going to get rid of the Facebook tracking junk. There's a lot of Facebook tracking junk. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to go, and you're going to see that the ref ID gets brought along over here. I notice the tracking link. Natalie said, again with what? Notice the tracking link is Facebook. So UpViral will know that somebody signed up through that Facebook share. And the ref ID is here so that Mitch will get credit for it, right? Because if I go back over here to my UpViral, you will see that that ref ID, GL504, matches. If I come over here to, this one, and I click on the Copilot, Mitch Copilot, you will see there's my ref ID, GL5458, blah, blah, blah. So all those things match up. You with me? Sarah or Natalie, are you with me? So we're talking about, in my case, right now, the only person that I have done a test with is copilot@test.com. That's this person right here. Deborah says, with you. How to give the points on the referral sign up. Well, that's what I'm showing you right now, Natalie. I'm showing you how that works, right? And I'm going to hit refresh, and I'm going to hope this says 15. All right, there it is. My points finally came through with that bug. All right, so I showed you they were there. It's just that this tool seems to be on some kind of a delay. If I click here, you will now see that there are 5 points for Facebook. I don't know what that delay is. It could potentially drive you bonkers if you're testing, and I pray that they fix that. It never has done this before the last week or two. I've never seen this happen with this delay. It's always been instant. All right. I'm not going to harp on that too much, but right now, if I click on Mitch and show you this again, you'll scroll down. There are no referred leads, right? Showing 1 of 0, and I keep asking them to fix this because there are no leads. Can't show 1 if it's not there. All right, so let's go back over to Firefox, because I use Firefox. I use multiple browsers because, especially with Firefox, it's really easy to just delete all the cookies. I only use Firefox for testing. In Firefox, if I hit Command Shift Delete, there are no cookies. If I go to Tools, you would see that if I do, where is it? That's not it. History, show all history. Somewhere there's a shortcut. I thought it was right here. To delete the cookies, it's a keyboard shortcut. Anyway, it's Command Shift Delete. It usually comes up with delete all cookies. But since I only use Firefox for testing my UpViral campaigns and nothing else, it's okay. It's easy for me to quickly delete my cookies and see what's going on. Now, this one again has the ref ID and the track equals Facebook. So I'm going to put in referred lead as my name, and I'm going to put in referred at test.com. Okay, and I'm going to click download free report. I'm going to get confetti, so this looks like a new person. I'm going to notice that this referral link has a different referrer ID. This person only has 10 points. Okay, so now I'm testing to make sure that Mitch gets credit for the other person, the referrer, referred, and I'm going to hit refresh. And that's what I was afraid of. And I apologize. This is a known problem that's been reported. If I go to leads, this is making this rather challenging. I'm sorry. If I export the checked and I come over here and I look at the new list, I'm going to make it full screen and I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it. Mitch at Copilot Test, which is the first one, now has 93 points. So I had the 10 points from signing up, the 5 points from sharing on Facebook, and the 78, right? So that's, I brought up Spotlight. I'm going to put in 10 plus 5 plus 78, and that's 93. So those numbers are adding up correctly. That's what I expected to see in here. Highly important, right? I need to make sure all those points add up. I apologize that UpViral has got this some kind of thing going on here, because what will happen is you will see that what will happen is there are no points. I'm not giving any points, but a visitor did happen. So this went from blank to 0. And the subscribers will show 78 points there. So this will add up once that refresh thing happens. I know it will because the data has the 93 points there, referred at test.com. And this also gives me the ability for you, by the way, to notice that I use this download, this export, for a lot of things. There's a lot of data in here. So if I take this first row, I'm going to highlight the first row. I'm not sure I understand your question, Steve. I can see all the data. I can see the points. Notice that the referral type here is, the lead type is referral. And I can see who referred that person, right? So all the data is in here, just like it is on the UpViral data, the lead page with the details. And you can see that the tracking code is Facebook. Now, one of the other things that I also do is I come over to my campaign and I'm going to go to the reports, and you're going to see that these numbers are starting to fill in. But if I go to the traffic, you will see that Facebook is here under referred with 2 hits and 1 lead. So we know that Facebook is tracking that. And that's all because of that tracking code that's inside of UpViral. And we can talk about tracking codes till we're blue in the face, but that's another detailed section. Steve asked, are you showing us how it flows, or is it the testing after the initial sign-up success recommended? I'm still not sure I totally understand the question, Steve, but I am showing you not only how it flows, but the actual testing that I do to make sure all of the points are adding up. You tested Copilot, this is Steve again, successfully. Are the further tests to be done, or are you just explaining how it works? I'm explaining how it works and how the points work so that people totally understand that when you do testing, you have to look for all these things. This is what I do when I do a test. I make sure all the points add up. Now, I usually don't do the export. What I usually do is inside of UpViral, I usually on the leads tab can see all of that data here, but for whatever reason this delay is in here, it can mess you up mentally because you expect this to be instantaneous. Deborah says, explaining how Mitch tests. Testing using a different browser, Firefox, by entering the test email may take different time. Yes. All right. So here's the other reason. Thank you for that, by the way, Deborah. Where did I put in the 78s for the referral sign up? So over here, Deborah, I'm sorry, Natalie, in the actions, the points, this used to be called points, by the way. Here's the points for the referral sign up, or for the sign up / referral actions. Marcelo, goodbye. Thank you. Glad you got your SSL thing fixed. 10 points for sign up and 78 for the referral sign up. Now you see why I put 78 in there, so that I could make it really unique for this process to be able to test to make sure things are working the way we want, right? Does that make sense? So Natalie, this is the joy of UpViral. 10 points for sign up, 78 for referred sign up. Did not see that we can change that here. So yes, I can change this all day long. This is where you establish those points for the social sharing and custom actions if you're going to do custom actions and the sign up points. Now there is one additional one for visits, which I briefly mentioned, but I don't ever advise anybody to put anything in there. So leave that hidden and just pretend it's not there. All right. Now, a great question. I guess I sort of totally understand now. How many points do you recommend for referral sign up? As much points, as many points as it takes to get people to recognize that this referral sign up is what's going to earn them the most joy. I am typically doing 10 points for sign up and at least 50 for a referral sign up, sometimes 100. This is the biggest bang for your buck in UpViral. This is why you're using UpViral, this box right here. This is the entire gold of this process. You want people to sign up other people. You don't want them just gathering points. They can do that all day long if they want. You want them referring other people. That's the why you're using UpViral. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face until you guys get it. All right, so going back to this advanced, and I knew this was going to be a long call, and I apologize because there's a lot of stuff that happens in testing. In the advanced setup, we kind of glossed over it, but there are these two buttons, auto redirect non-subscribers and redirect subscribers to the share page. This should think subscribers. These both should be the same word. Okay, subscriber means somebody who has signed up to your campaign. So this is why I use the Firefox, right, to do my testing, because I can clear the cookies. I'm going to close that. And I had this page I was going to show you, but all right. So inside of, I'm going to come back over here. because this is the one that I have and this will get a little confusing. I hope I can tell it to you quickly, easily. I am in this Chrome browser, right? This is Chrome, even though it says UpViral up here. This is a Chrome browser. I just signed up for this campaign inside this Chrome browser, not inside an incognito window, right? I was not inside incognito. So let me just assume that I open a new tab, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab this promote link just to make sure you guys see. So this is the main link for the campaign. I'm going to come to the new tab, and I'm going to paste in that. And notice it says LP, which is landing page, right? That should take me to the first page, correct? You guys with me? It should take me to the first page because that's the landing page. I hit go, and look what UpViral does. It sent me to the thank you page, right? It says thanks. This is the sharing page, the thank you page. Why did it do that? If I go back to my UpViral, and I go back to my setup, and I go back to the advanced, which is where I am, and I go to the general setup, I talked about these briefly. Auto redirect non-subscribers. In this browser, I am a subscriber because I signed up right here under Copilot or Mitch Copilot at test.com. Are there going to be replays of this? Yes, Mario. Always a replay, and I'm sorry I didn't mention that at the beginning. Linda says, because it knows you've already signed up, it's because of the cookie, right? There's cookies, browser cookies, and hopefully you understand what a browser cookie is. But when I signed up in this browser window, Deborah, thank you for the links. Mario, go see what Deborah just posted. The cookie was set for this browser. Kokeb, Deborah just shared the links for the replays. That's an interesting name. Did I say it right? Kokeb? Anyway, inside this browser, the cookie is set. And when I typed in the lead page, I'll do it again. I'll paste in the lead page, the landing page, and this is where a lot of people get really mentally messed up. They go, I want to see, oops, that's what happens when you do something wrong. I put a dot at the end accidentally. Notice I put in the landing page and it keeps taking me back to the thank you page. That's because the cookie is set, and this is where people get really messed up with their testing. The cookie is set in this browser. Now, if I do File, New Incognito Window, and I paste in that link, it will go to the lead page because the cookie is not set inside inside an incognito window. All right. The cookie is not set inside an incognito window. So realistically, you ought to do all of your testing inside an incognito window. I use Firefox, and I'm going to just close that, and I'm going to open a new one, and I'm going to do the Command-Shift-Delete to delete all of the history, and I'm going to paste in that lead page, and you'll see that it will go to here, right? And I'll just for fun go in and I'll put Mitch again, and I'll put in the Copilot at test.com. My cookie is now set in this browser. My cookie is set, right? So if I do new tab and I paste that landing page URL again, it's going to go to the share page every time. Is this making sense to you guys? This is a critical thing for testing. You have to understand the cookie process. All right, now I'm going to mess you up a little bit. Let me know if you understand that or if you have any questions. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. There's my points page. Natalie says very clear. Thank you. I'm going to close this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the advanced tab, to the general setup. I'm going to turn this off because this is the one, if this were to say subscriber, if I turn that off, I'm going to go over to my Firefox. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to delete the cookies in Firefox. I'm going to open a new window, and I'm going to paste in the landing page, right? So I'm starting fresh, starting fresh. Pretend none of the other stuff ever happened. I'm using the same email address because I'm not trying to register somebody new. I'm not trying to track the points. I'm just trying to demo something to you. So I'm going to just put M, and I'm going to put copilot@test.com. All I'm trying to do is demonstrate how the pages flow depending upon how those switches are set. So this will take me to the share page, right? The cookie is now set for me in this browser. Now, what's going to happen, because I turned this off, the redirect participants to share page, I'm going to click save just to make sure. What's going to happen to me if I put in the lead page again? Will it take me to the thank you page? Or will it actually take me to the landing page, the lead page? Anybody got a guess? If you can type it in really fast, I know there's a delay. So I'm not clearing the cookies. The cookies are still there. The cookie is set. I'm going to paste in the landing page. Where am I going to go? This is all important stuff for you to understand when you're doing testing. Andoni says landing page. Natalie says lead page. Linda says landing page. Good. Bless your heart. Deborah's got it. It takes me to the landing page, even though the cookie is set. If you don't understand this and you don't have your settings right, you're not going to understand how to do the testing. This thing is very critical, and it's a great. And Kokeb says a thank you page, and sorry, that's wrong. I had turned this off, so this is not redirecting people to the share page. It's taking them to the landing page. This thing is glorious, but it's also very confusing for many new people. It depends upon how you want to run your campaign. If you want people to go to the landing page, even though they are already a member, then you turn that thing off. 99% of the time, I tell people to turn this on. Because you want people to go to the sharing page, right? With that turned on, if I hit refresh, I believe it's going to share it and take me to the thank you page, which it did. All I did was refresh. UpViral said, that cookie is set. Let me go to the sharing page. Natalie asked a great question. Why would you turn it off? It depends. I have not seen very many good use cases for that. Steve asked the same question. It just depends upon your setup. There could be a scenario, which is why I said 95% of the time, most people turn that on. And it should be turned on by default in my book. I think well, you didn't see it, but why turn it off? It doesn't make sense to redirect a customer to an opt-in page. I agree, but the option is there. Natalie says if two users are on the same computer, but you don't necessarily know that from our aspect. Jippy asks, what happens when an affiliate registers on their laptop and shares on their mobile phone? Well, there's the magic question. There's the problem. There's the opportunity. There is the struggle. It's all based on cookies, okay? It is all based on those cookies. This is why, and I had a long session on this the other day, and I don't remember whether it was in a Copilot show or not, but that's one of the glorious reasons for the one-click sign-up. I got a video on that, and I will share it on the UpViral group when this gets posted. If you see this and you don't know what it is, ask me. I'm not going to try to go into it now because it'll confuse the conjeebers out of some of you. But you can use the one-click sign-up from your email list to get people directly to their share page, regardless of what computer they registered on. Now, the other solution is that when people, and I'm just going to turn this off to make it simple on myself, and I'm going to paste in the landing page again. I didn't mean to hit the B key. I'm going to paste in the landing page again. So when I get here, all right, I'll just open an incognito window to quit messing with things. What people don't necessarily understand is people, meaning people outside of your planet, right? People that are subscribing, the people that are joining your campaign, they don't realize that basically putting in their name and their email again does not cause them to get 2 emails. It doesn't cause them to get anything. But if they registered for your campaign on their phone and they click on a link that gets them here somehow because the cookie isn't set, all they got to put in is their name and their email again, just like I'm doing, right? All they have to do, but to them, it's, you and I know it because we understand how the cookies are working and how computers work and all that other stuff. One of the other tools, which I won't go into, but they actually just have a side button. It's over here that says login. And some people recognize that and realize that if they click that, then they can get in the same way they did before. It's just like a login. Okay. It can be very confusing. Cookies are not understandable by most people on the planet. It can be very confusing, and UpViral is cookie-based. All the other tools are cookie-based. This is not something that's just unique to UpViral. But it can be confusing, which is one of the reasons why I use from my autoresponder the one-click link to get people to their share page again. And again, it's a long conversation. I'm going to try not to dive into that. Linda says yes, she wants it. I will make sure to share that with you. But this is the thing that people struggle with the most when they're testing. Deborah just shared her note. General setup, turn auto redirect non-subscribers and the redirect on. Mitch recommends use one-click sign-up to get people their campaign, regardless of the device. So they sign up on a laptop, and then via share device, they will get to the sharing page. Primarily, there's 2 ways of getting people. What I don't have, let me rephrase that. What we're talking about is, let's suppose I'm gonna open another diagram, because what I do is I think it's going to help. I thought it was in here. I don't see the one-click thing here, but that's not it. I'll just share you this one. So there's a difference between UpViral emails and the autoresponder, right? So, and this diagram's formatted a little bit differently, but I hope you get the idea. From your autoresponder, when you send an email, what you most likely want to do is to send them to the sharing page. And that one-click sign up will get them directly to here without worrying about the cookies. With these switches, if this is turned on, then, and somebody's going to ask me about what this is about. I'll tell you that in a minute. If that is turned on, when somebody is on the same computer that they signed up on, they will go directly to the share page. If the cookie's not set, they come in here and UpViral tries to get them here, but the cookie's not set, and that redirect is turned on, or I'm sorry, is the cookie's not set, and there's no cookie on that browser/computer, it will send them to the lead page. And you want that way. But it's confusing to people, and I get it. This is one of the hard parts about testing. It gets worse. If you stick with it, gets worse when you're talking about widgets. We haven't talked about widgets yet. So let me go talk about this switch. Sometimes the one that says auto redirect non-subscribers, sometimes what I have seen happen, I'm going to come over here to Firefox and I'm going to go back a page. No, sometimes what I have seen is instead of people clicking copy or selecting this and copying it, what they have done is they have copied this thank you URL and they have shared that. This is the sharing page URL, and they will put that on Facebook. We want them to copy this one, but they post that one. If they post that one, then this button comes into play. This will take non-subscribers to the landing page in that scenario where somebody has shared the thank you page or the cookie isn't set. This is really confusing, isn't it? It can get confusing. Do you want that turned on? Yes. You could theoretically turn this off, and you could theoretically take care of some of those problems where people want to go to the share page, like from your autoresponder or whatever. But let me just tell you, you're better off just turning this on and learning the one-click methodology, and people will figure out, many people will figure out that they can just sign up, again, using the same email address they used before, and they won't be on your email list twice. We cannot solve every person's problems on the internet. I would love to do that, but we can't just get everybody to totally understand. All right, does that make any sense? You guys with me so far? I know we've covered a lot. So if I come over to, and I don't need this open anymore, here's our testing process. We've reviewed that, right? We've reviewed that. We've tested a real entry with your own email address. We did not test this because I didn't test the autoresponder, and you definitely want to do that. And thank you guys for responding to my question. You will want to check your autoresponder to make sure that people are, if you want that to happen, right? If I come back to preview, what I'm talking about is that people get sent over to the autoresponder. In my campaign, if I come over here, you will remember that I did not set this up. So right now, for my campaign, I am not expecting people to be over here. Something like already signed up, ? Just enter your email. You can put that on your landing page, and I have tried that, yes. If you were to do that, I would put it kind of, let me go to Firefox. I'm already on the page and I closed the other one, didn't I? But I would put it like right above the sign up form on the landing page. So what I'm talking about in my checklist is, did your registration get added to your autoresponder? Right now, there's no connection here. On my test campaign, I am not sending people over to autoresponders. What I will typically do in my testing is that when I set up my campaign, I will leave this off to do the first round of testing because I don't want to be getting a whole bunch of emails, right? Initially, when I'm testing the points, I don't need to see the emails. What I will then do is come in here and I will set my active campaign and I'll select a list, blah, 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 and I would do all that. And then I would do this hunk of my test to make sure that those people get added over to your autoresponder. That's a critical part of the process, isn't it? Got to do that. Because I will tell you that people will call me up and go, Mitch, people aren't getting added to my autoresponder. And I will say, did you test it? And they will say, well, I thought I did. But they didn't do the test. If you don't do that part of the test, I'm going to tell you, you're going to call me and you're going to say, Mitch, it's not working. So do that part of the test. It's a critical part of the test, right? That's the piece that I'm talking about, is somebody gets added to your autoresponder. All right, test the point structure. We did that. I'm going to skip the widget part because we haven't talked about that. Now, the other thing that I would do in my next step of the testing would be to come over to my email notifications, and I would start turning these on to be able to make sure that my emails are coming to me. Right? That's the part of this process that we're in. We're looking for the congratulations email. If you're doing double opt-in, right here, check to make sure that that's coming through. Test the links that are in your emails. You got to make sure that if you put links in your emails, that those things work. Do not skip that part of the process. If you're giving people a free download, you want to make sure that the free download function works in your emails, right? If you're not doing that, then you're missing a major step. Jeff's leaving. Thank you, Jeff, for being here and for sticking with me through my long conversations. But this stuff is critical. On the share page, test the Facebook post. We did that. I should be checking these off. Test other social media. I did not do that, but I think you guys get the idea on how to do those tests. Grab your share link and an incognito register again. We did that. Pete, thank you for tuning in. Review the email for gaining entries with the share link. That's this one. Make sure that that is clear and that they understand how good that is. I put a GIF in there to make it really fun and celebratory and to get them to understand that they are making glorious amounts of points. Don't let this be the default thing because this is pretty freaking boring. Great news! Someone just signed up through your referral link. Here's how many points you have. Make it better. Improve these emails. Make people fired up about getting those points. That's the goal. This one right here is the goal in UpViral. When they go, holy cow, you mean I got 78 more points? I'm going to do that again. By the way, I'm going to show you really fast. They don't put it in here, but if I'm just going to delete this part just to show you. But come up here to this personalized email and put the Facebook button and put something like click here to share on Facebook again. So you earn 78 points, whatever it is you have set up, when you refer someone else. That will get you much closer to winning the prize. Type and talk, right? Put in some glorious words there. Get them fired up to have more chances. Make this fun. Put an image or a GIF in there. Get them to understand. So what will happen is this will turn into a blue Facebook share button. Takes their link directly to Facebook so they can share it again. Give them every opportunity to do the sharing part. I'm going to click save just because I typed it. All right, confirm the dates. I didn't talk about the dates very much, but if you are doing your setup and you're in the incentive section and you put in a prize date, then you have that opportunity. Make sure that the closing date is correct inside of here. I'm not going to go through that process right now. We've already been here long enough. If you have a timer on the landing page, which is not an UpViral default, but you can add HTML timers, like a countdown timer that says, hey, there's only 5 hours left, make sure those are set properly because people will check those. Here's the magic one, right? Make sure you've set the what to do when the contest is closed setting. And I harped on this one a lot. That's this one down here. Redirect to a URL. I'm going to put in my viral traffic guy. Or I'll just pick that one. Redirect some people somewhere. Make sure I put it on here because this one is important. Test completely on a smartphone. Didn't mention that, but you will see potentially different results. Shouldn't be. Should be the same. But do not bypass the, hey, how does this look? Especially the lead page and the sharing page. If the UpViral format isn't good for the sharing page or the lead page, people aren't going to sign up. And 60% of the people or more will come to your campaign via a smartphone. Do all of these functions on your smartphone. Make sure the points work. Make sure the custom actions work, which I didn't mention up here. Make sure all of those things work properly on the smartphone. If you don't understand how the campaign works and how the people are testing, how they're doing it, you're not doing your job properly. And if you're working with a client, I put this in because of clients. If you're working with a client, make sure they are understanding all of this process. Sometimes they trust you to make sure it all works, but I really like them to understand because what happens is that they will get calls and emails from their clients asking them how to do that. And Donnie says smartphone is 80% of the traffic. It depends. Typically, I'm getting about 60 to 65%. I'm going to give you the link again. I'm going to bring up my links because it's easier for me. If you want to see that checklist, you can grab that checklist. It's in there. It's free to you. You can just clone it because it's a Google Sheet. Now, who wants to do all of this for a widget? That's the only thing that I haven't done, and I left it. I'm assuming you guys know how to pick the winners. Telemarketer is calling. If you're doing a widget, and I mentioned this briefly up here, Natalie says, see you in the viral challenge. Thank you for tuning in, Natalie. Thanks for sticking with me. This is all critically important stuff. For those of you, Steve says no. Do you want to talk about widgets? No. Bless your heart. Look at that, Linda. Steve, bless you. Deborah says, sorry, I have to run. Thank you. Linda says, no, I don't want to know about widgets because you told us not to. Okay. which just let me simply say that if you're doing widgets, it can be very complicated for testing. Andoni's like, everybody's bailing out. Okay, I know I've gone on and on and on and on. So I appreciate all of you sticking with me. If you want to know about widgets, we'll talk about that on another particular campaign or a different show. I think it's probably a good idea. Barbara says yes. Do you want to talk about widgets? I mean, I can talk about it. I'd be happy to talk about it. If you guys that are sticking, let me know. I will go through hopefully a 15-minute or less conversation about that. Widgets. Barbara says yes, widgets. All right. So for those of you who want to stick around for the widgets, I've covered everything in here except for widgets, I believe, that I wanted to talk about, which was a lot. So a widget process, Natalie says, I will catch the replay. So I will talk about it. Fabby says yes. So again, the lead page, I'll just flip over to this one. The lead page and the share page, the concepts are all the same. The issues with the widget are very similar to what we just talked about in terms of the redirect participants and the auto direct non-subscribers. So what I have is a widget demo. So I've just flipped over to a different campaign. Notice this is a different campaign. If I go to the advanced tab and I go to general setup, you will notice that those two boxes, auto redirect and auto redirect or redirect or whatever those say, are not here in the widget process. Steve asks, will you take a co-pilot break in the holiday season, December 29th? Actually, we have them scheduled. As far as I know, we're not taking a break because people not all over the world are celebrating Christmas stuff. Right now, they are currently scheduled. And you know I love to talk about this stuff. So in the widget, there are no those redirect things. There isn't any formal process if somebody ends up on the wrong page, and this is where the problem lies. If somehow somebody ends up on the share page in the widget process and the cookies are set, they could either see the lead page form of the widget or the share page form of the widget, and I'll explain that. Steve, see you next week. Thank you for tuning in, Superstar. All right, so in Firefox, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my cookies, and I'm going to say OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to widget.giveawayrocket.com, and you will see my demo. Now, this is running currently on my WordPress page. So inside my WordPress page is all of the additional stuff, right? There's a menu, there's a header, there's a footer. All of this white space over here is part of the page itself. This pink section is the widget. So if I come back over to UpViral and I go to the design, I'm sorry, it's down here. So I have two designs here. I paused because I'm like, that's not what I think it is. This one is turned off. You see that little button right there says this one is off, so nobody will see that. Here's the one that I'm currently working with because this one is green. So if I do a preview on this, it looks very similar. I forgot that was there. That's why I clicked it. But it looks very similar. But you notice all this white space around here is where you're putting in your page content. So I come back to Firefox. That's all this stuff. All I have done is done the embed for the widget. Okay? Now, yeah, I'm going to go back over to the UpViral. I'm going to close that preview, and I am in my widget demo. I'm going to go to the installation tab. Now, what makes widgets a little different is that you specify the landing page, which is this, and you specify the sharing page, which is that. So I have widget lead page and widget share page inside of my WordPress site at viraltrafficguy.com. If I come back over to Firefox, you'll see that it says viraltrafficguy.com widget lead page. And what UpViral is going to do is that if you have something in this box, when they put their name and their email address in on the lead page, it's going to automatically send them to whatever you have here. All right, so those two pages is what we're talking about over here, the lead page and the share page. Where it gets really messy is that people don't understand the cookie scenario, all right? Which is what we're going to work through right now. So right now, I'm going to put in, notice I worded things differently here, but I'm going to put in Mitch, and I'm going to put in, because right now I don't care what the email address is, right? I do not care. So I'm going to do copilot@test.com. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I want it to be unique. We'll just make sure. We're going to do widget@test.com. I don't have my autoresponder turned off. These leads are not going anywhere. I don't have my autoresponder turned on, so my leads aren't going anywhere. And let me go back. I don't want emails coming out, so I'll make sure that these are turned off. I don't care about these. Incentives, I don't want that. All right, so I've got all my emails turned off just to make sure I don't have my autoresponder set, right? So in my demo, I'm not worried about where people go. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to click on this button that says, "Isn't the Copilot show?" Great. Now, the cookie has just been set inside this browser. Just like we had the cookie set inside the hosted landing page, this cookie is set. This is the share page. It says up here in the URL, share page, and it has a user ID, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Now, obviously this, if you see there's a ref ID and I don't have a special custom domain right now. So this URL is for this campaign. If I copy that, and I would do all my testing, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm open an incognito window in Firefox, and I'm going to paste that referral URL, and you will see I will get to the lead page, and it will have the lead form of the widget. Now, where people get messed up, so that process is all the same. You're still going to open incognito windows, etc. When they get really going in here and they get messed up, what happens to me if I go in this browser with this cookie set? Anybody want to tell me what's going to happen if I go to the lead page? Will I see the lead page form or will I see the share page form? Any guesses? I'm going to take a quick drink because I'm getting thirsty. Again, we got to recognize that the cookie is set. So what is your guess? Again, inside the general settings of the advanced tab, there's no place to tell people what side of the widget to see. So what's going to happen? Federico says share page. Barbara says thank you page. John T says share page as cookie is set for lead page. Okay, good tries. Debbie says lead page. So again, I'm going to the lead page URL, but the cookie is set. So I'm going to just leave that there, and I'm going to come over here, And I don't remember whether I have the lead page set, but I can go to widget.giveawayrocket.com and it will take me to the lead page. So I am physically on the lead page. It says lead page here at the top of the page. And the sharing widget is showing. This is where people call me all the time and go, I'm seeing the share widget on my lead page. What's wrong? UpViral's busted. UpViral's not busted. You just didn't understand how to set it up. And you don't understand the cookies. The setup, I shouldn't say you didn't know how to set it up. The setup is right the way UpViral does widgets. So Barbara said the thank you page. Now, I don't know whether you meant the share widget or the thank you page itself, but we're on the lead page with the sharing widget. That's what I really wanted you to say. You're on the lead page with the sharing widget. And people say, well, how do I get to the landing page widget? The only way to do that is to open an incognito window. Barbara meant the sharing page. UpViral does not redirect widgets. If you, those buttons that we talked about automatically redirecting somebody. I'm in the widget giveaway. I go to the advanced. There is no redirect like there was in the hosted landing page. These two things are not here inside my widget campaign. UpViral will send the person to whatever page you tell them to go to. If you send people to the sharing widget page and their cookie is not set, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and I'm going to come over to Firefox and I'm going to just mess with all of y'all because I'm going to delete my cookies, right? And I'm going to open a new window. So I'm in a new window. My cookies are deleted. I'll delete them again, just so you know. And I'm going to go to the share page. What am I going to see? Am I going to see the landing page widget, or am I going to see the sharing page widget? This is critical to understand, which is why one of the reasons why I tell people not to do widget stuff on your first campaign. The cookie is not set for this browser right now. If I go to the share page, nobody's typed in an answer yet. If I go to the share page with no cookies set, you're going to see the share page. What version of the widget are you going to see? The lead form or the sharing widget? That's what I want to know. Are you going to see the lead form or the sharing widget? We're going to be on the widget share page. We are not going to be on the landing page. We're not going to be on the share. What pages and widgets I'm trying to get you to understand that the widget and the pages are different. Barbara says lead form. Thank you. That is correct. Federico says lead form. We're going to be on the share page, but we are going to see the lead form of the widget because the cookie is not set. This is why people all the time in the UpViral group will say, I'm on the share page, but people see the lead form. Because they don't understand this. And I understand why they don't understand it. I get it, because it's confusing. Which is also why I tell you not to do widgets on your first campaign, because until you understand how the cookies work, you're going to be lost. I am on the share page. I should have put share page at the top to make it more clear on the, I'll do that. I'm gonna open, I have things set up. I'm gonna go to here. I'll just make it really, really clear. Because I'm gonna go to pages. I don't know which ones I've got. Widget share page. I'm gonna go edit. And you see that there's the widget, and I'm just going, I'll do it visually if you don't know what WordPress is, but I'm just going to make this widget, I can't type, WIDGET share page, and I'm going to make that be heading 1, and I'm going to do update. So I'm going to come over to Firefox and I'm going to refresh. So you see that this is the widget share page, but it has the lead page widget. JV says, how are you able to change the size of the widget? Great question. If I go back over to my WordPress site and I go into here, notice this little widget section. It's I'm going to put in 700, and that's the width. And I'm going to hit update, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit refresh, and you're going to see it's going to be really wide. Stick with me, JV. I'm going to come over to UpViral. If you go to the installation tab, down here there's an embed width, and I actually deleted it at one point so it doesn't come up. But if you put in, say, I'll make it different, 900, it actually changes the code down here depending upon what you put up here. I just simply changed it physically over in my WordPress to change that number right there. So you can change the width. You would have to redefine the height of that if you want to change the height, but that's inside of whatever page builder you're building with. And you could say, I want to center it, etc. So you just copy this code, right? So if I come over here to my WordPress site and I go to text format and I replace this section and I do update, and then I come back over to Firefox and I refresh that, you will see that it's even wider and it's centered. All right, but I'm on the share page. So notice on the share page, if I put in my ID again, and let me go grab my widget at test.com, and I click there, then I'm still on the share page, but now the widget shows up, the sharing widget. So it all depends, again, upon the cookie settings. The cookie settings are critical to this process. I didn't change my landing page, but I'll do that. Let me go back to my pages just to be clear. And I'll come in here and I'll edit. And I'm going to do it in here. So those are my things. And I'm going to say, I'm going to put in a paragraph and I'm going to say widget lead page. I'm going to make that heading 1 and I'm going to do update. So if I go to the lead page, cookies are set, right? I'm just going to do open new tab and I'm going to do widget giveawayrocket.com, and you will see I will be on the lead page, but it has the sharing widget side of things because the cookie is set. Now, one of the things, because this can become a critical problem, you're on your lead page and people are seeing the widget. Here's a tip for you. You can solve some of your problems, your opportunities, if people end up on the lead page and you don't want them to see the widget if the cookie is set. What I advise clients to do is to go to UpViral and come over here to the HTML form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that code. So this will be a form. And I'm going to come back to my WordPress site and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get rid of the UpViral stuff that I had before. And I'm going to paste in that code that they gave me. And I'm going to click update. And I have to do one other thing because of WordPress. And I'm going to take this code. I don't remember. Can I just put it on this page? I think I have to put it somewhere else. And this is, I'm not a total 99% UpViral guru. So if I come over to Firefox, now the cookie is still set. I'm not going to delete my cookies, but I'm on the lead page. If I hit refresh, it works. All right. because what this is, let me go back slowly for you. What I did was I went to the HTML form of the widget installation, and this is a simple form. If you see that says form name equals blah, 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 blah. Now, this is just a simple HTML form. So even though the cookie's set, what I end up showing people is the widget. This is a form. This is not a widget. Okay. If I put in my name, and this is the part that I think is not going to work, which is why I was hesitating. I'm just going to put test, and do I still have it copied here? I'm not sure this will work because of that. It did. All right. You have to have this script somewhere on your page or on your website. This is what redirects people to the share page. If that makes sense. You got to have it either on the high level of your website or actually on that page. But again, when I'm on the lead page, if I go back, this would, because I'm using an HTML form and not the widget, on the lead page, people will never see the sharing widget. They will only ever see the sign up form. And you can make this prettier. You can use HTML to make it prettier. Does that make sense? So what I usually do is not put the widget on the lead page. I just put the opt-in form because that's all I want them to ever see. Now, they can still get to the share page and not have the cookie set and still see the opt-in side of the widget. But at least on the lead page, they will only ever see this form. Is that clear? You guys understand that? Have I totally confused anybody on this? Let me know, because that's the widget side of this process. All the other testing is still the same. You still want to go through all the other steps. The hard part is making sure that the referral link, for example, gets passed in. The hard part is the cookie side of this. Nobody's responding to me, so okay, there it comes. Federico says all clear. JV says close. Okay, if you don't understand, let me know. What part don't you understand? You still have to do the testing. And the other thing that people end up failing with is that they don't test this. If I do copy on this referral thing and go to the lead page and I come in and I put in that, it should end up here. And I can't instantly test the check. New widget person. I'm sorry, I'm going to put referral, right? Clear, but a little complicated. Yes, it is complicated. That's, again, one of the reasons why I tell people not to do a widget on their first, second, or third campaign, because it's just harder. Email ID is, we're going to do widget referral at test.com. And then when I come back to UpViral, if things are working right, I'm going to see those leads. Oh, look, it came through instantly. And widget tests. Oh, good. I'm not going to talk about the fraud part, but the subscribers came through, and you will see that new widget person referral that I just created came through, and I got those 78 points for that. So that worked perfectly. But you always have to test referrals with your widgets. So you can JV Quest asks, so you can present an HTML form, but the referral page will show after they've subscribed. Correct. That's all because inside of the setup, under the installation, I specify the lead page in step 1 and the share page in step 2. UpViral uses these. If you don't have these set properly, you're going to be totally messed up with a widget. You have to have these because UpViral uses the second one on the where to tell people to go when they sign up. We have to know where to tell people to go. Now, just between you and me, and I really do not like it. I don't like it, but I'll tell you that it's possible. You could not have something in here in the share page, which is why they say it is optional. And you could have all of your entire UpViral campaign on one page, just the lead page. And the widget will flip depending upon whether the cookie's set. I have seen that done before. I don't care for it. It's confusing to people. I don't care for it in the slightest, but you can do it. I advise you to do 2 pages. You can have them both set up on one page. Yes, you can do the widget without the share page. You're missing a golden opportunity to explain to people why they should be sharing. You cannot possibly cram everything into the widget, because if you look at the widget design, it's not a full page, right? I'm going to just do preview. You can put some words here, but you can get your widget looking really freaking complicated if you try to tell everybody how to do everything inside a widget. So I don't advise you to do that. But yes, you can do the entire thing in one page if you want to. Every time I've seen it done, in my opinion, it's been a failure because it's too hard to do. Make it easier on yourself. The lead page is to get people to sign up. The share page is to get them to share. Don't try to put both those functions on one page. It's too confusing. All right. That's where I'm going to wrap it up. If you have a question, please let me know. I will stall for another 15, 20 seconds because I know there's a delay. I'm going to take a swig of water. I'm going to be really fun and see if I can get my sounds to play while I'm drinking. Poor Alex Trebek. Cancer got him. John T., you're welcome. Let me know if anybody has any questions. Of course, you can find me on the UpViral group. You can find me here in the Copilot Show every week, unless something else crops up. JV, you're welcome. Barbara, you're welcome. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, I appreciate you all sticking with me. This is a very complicated topic. One I'm very passionate about. Philip, you're welcome. If you wouldn't mind to send a note to the UpViral team and let them know how much you appreciate this, because this, I think, is tuning my own horn. It's incredibly valuable for you guys to understand these concepts. If you have any great suggestions, first class, Fabby, thank you. Oh, I thought you said great. I can't read. Let me know. Send a thank you to Wilco. If you bought UpViral during Black Friday, they had a sale. You are in the Viral Challenge class that's coming up this week. Barbara says the replays are on Facebook, right? Yes, they're all in there. And by the way, I've gotten a commitment from the UpViral team. They are going to improve the titles, and they're going to create a PDF or something that will identify what the topics were for each one. So that was great feedback from last week. Federico, see you later. Thank you, Barbara. I will catch you guys next week. If you don't have UpViral, you should. Now you know how to test it. Philip says, I will watch the replay again as it's a lot of info to take in. Yes, absolutely true. And no, I've not found a faster way to teach it. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Let me know. Ciao, Barbara. It's good to see you. Have a good holiday if I don't see you guys. It's been wonderful, and we will talk to you again next week. And no, I didn't look up what next week's topic is. I think it's something from Danny. But I will see you then. Bye-bye.